made it. Yeah. So there's always technical difficulties. Welcome to another segment of Warrior Spotlight, where the stories are real and the emotions are raw. And these emotions are so raw tonight, you have no idea. Rain's ready to explode back there. Our Wi-Fi is not working properly. We changed locations. In case you're like, this doesn't look like the couch. You're right, it doesn't look like the couch. I wanted to change things up, so we moved downstairs. And I think that may have created a little complication in the video stuff. Yeah. Whoopsie. Well, I want to start tonight by talking about the disco party. OMG. This disco party was absolutely amazing. I want to run through and thank all my sponsors first, because I think it's really important that we do that. Denny, of course, Denny, we love you. We couldn't do the show without you. You are the show. You are the man. People just lost their noodle over you. They were like groupies at the front of the stage, like, Denny. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Lenore, she was great. She was the other one on the music, helping at the music. And then he has his 2 kids, Olivia and Josh. They're his backup dancers. They are amazing, and they really keep the crowd going. They have signs, and they're like great. Spectacular. Yeah. We want to give a shout out to the Hilton. We want to give a shout out to Meredith Reynolds, Mud Hens, and Great Lakes Sound. They were all part of the making of that as well. And then I'm going to read through the list of sponsors, but I got to put my glasses on because it's so small. So our presenting sponsor was the Toledo Refining Company. So thank you so much for being our presenting sponsor. And then the additional sponsors that we had were American Carpet Barn. They sponsored a table for us. Hollywood Casino, Glitter Girls, Myrtle Flowers, Miter Foundation, Pavlica Builders and Inside Out Inspections, Michigan Window and Doors, 2 sponsors, Ranch Warriors, which was one of our veterans who had graduated from the program. The disco party is like her thing, so she bought a table, yeah, and sponsored it for us.
That's great.
In Puzzlement, Gray's Station, Monroe Community Credit Union, Bauer Lawn Maintenance, and I think that is it on there. Oh, and Nardine, we definitely want to give a shout out to her. She sang the national anthem, and OMG, she just knocked it right out of the house. It was very good. Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. Oh, you were there for that piece? Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Yeah. But it was amazing. It was okay. Prior to us inviting you there?
No.
Oh, okay.
You invited me. And I do have to say, it was really an eye-opener. I didn't know Toledo had it in them. That and all the costumes.
Yeah, people get into it big time.
Yes.
Big time.
It was very enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so great. And then seeing Channing. The sponsors area. Now that I know what it looks like, it's our first year, so we had a bunch of bumps along the way, but now first year's in the pocket.
Yeah.
But their area is such a nice little VIP area, and everybody was just so nice. I was up there mingling a couple different times, just dancing around. Kyle had this idea that I tie a balloon to me for the night.
Oh boy. And
so I did. I had this balloon tied to me, so this way, if anybody was looking for me, they could go, "Oh, there she is. There she is." And it actually worked out.
Good idea.
Yeah, it worked great. Yeah, it works out really great.
That's
actually.
good for you. You can't hide.
Right. But it was so funny because I had people who were like, I was looking for you. And then I was looking at some of the video that people have posted. And it's so funny because you can see the balloon in different
That's awesome.
In different places. I was like, that was a brilliant idea.
I was too polite to ask why you had
You don't ever have to be polite to me, Carolyn. We're sisters. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, it was an absolutely amazing night. So, and it doesn't take us long to move on to the next event, right? So there's always a next event. This one is called Sheroes on the Ranch. For those of you who don't know, June 12th is actually Women Veterans Day. There is a day around that.
It's tomorrow.
That is correct.
Right.
Nice.
Yep, that's
Could
correct.
I add something to why?
You just
It's actually a Women Veterans Appreciation Day. So it's not specifically a Veterans Day. But in 1948, Harry S. Truman signed into law where all women could officially join the service and serve as soldiers. Up to that point, women were all volunteers. So some had to even buy their own uniforms, but they had to march and salute and do all of that. But they had very little pay. And I just found out recently that if you were killed in action, you had to pay for your own expenses to get home, to get your body home.
Oh my gosh.
So it's an appreciation day for the day when we could officially join the service.
I love that. Thank you for the
I love it.
input.
I love it.
I'm telling you, that's the reason why she's a Hall of Famer, right?
Uh-huh.
Anyways, Carolyn and I, and you guys are going to get to know her a little bit later, but Carolyn and I are partnering on this event because you'll learn that her mission is taking care of female veterans. And we thought, what a perfect opportunity now that the ranch is up and running.
Yeah.
And of course, our presenting sponsor is Miter Foundation. You guys take such good care of us. You guys do, I
I
swear.
love it.
Yeah.
I love being able to.
And we do too. We absolutely love the partnership that we have. I kind of want to talk about it just for a minute to kind of give you an idea of what it is going to entail. The women have already signed up. They're already registered. Gift bags are in the process of being made. We have about 20 women that are going to show up, which is going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
We're going to have registration. We're going to have we're going to do a Pledge of Allegiance. And then Carol and I are going to kind of talk about our organizations and then what the day is going to entail, which is going to be really nice. And then there's a couple different activities that we're going to be doing. And we're going to have this really awesome photo booth set up. So individuals could take pictures at the photo booth and it's going to be great. Then they can get, we're going to have several volunteers on hand to help guide tours throughout the ranch for the ladies who have not been here before.
Yeah.
And then we have a delicious lunch coming, which I already can't wait for that. And then Great Lakes, Five Lakes Church, thank you, Rain, is our other sponsor. They are our Battle Buddy sponsor, and they are setting up a mocktail bar for us. So,
Fun.
and they're making like 3 different mocktails. So the food will be set up in here. The mocktails will be set up in here. Yeah, I'm like, you just run it any way you want to run it. I don't care. So they're
That's
super
great.
excited to take part in that and be part of the process too. And then we're going to share some sisterhood experiences a little bit, right?
Right.
And then there may be a surprise or two in there, right?
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's going to be a great event. We're really looking forward to it. We're in a great place on the ranch to, be able to start to have these events. And so we're really looking forward to it. Then our next big event, I just want to touch base a little bit. We have a minute before that, but it's July 31st, which is our Warrior fundraiser, our 6th annual Warrior fundraiser. We always have that at Leroy's. It's always a phenomenal sit-down dinner. This year's guest speaker is going to be Noah Karras. His brother Justin took his life, and the Karrases started the Justin Karras Foundation, raising funds. And over the last 2 years, they've given us $35,000 directly into our veterans account to take care of veterans in our programming, which has been spectacular. So they're going to be our guest speaker and share why they've chosen to partner with us and supply, 7 veterans with life-changing events. And of course, then we'll have one of the veterans who completed the program. His name's Joe. He's going to be there speaking and some other fun stuff that we'll have. But mark your calendar, July 31st. You can go out to the website. There's a link out there. The flyers out there. You can click on there and purchase tickets, and there's sponsorship opportunities. Okay, I'm going to change this up a little bit tonight because I thought I'm going to talk about this because it's been heavy on my heart. And this is going to be kind of like an open discussion-ish. First, we're going to talk about the DD-214, right? Because I've talked to so many people lately that they just don't have their benefits, right? They just don't. And I'm sure you run into the same thing, right?
Yes,
And so the DD-214 is what allows the veterans to get connected to their benefits, right?
Okay.
It's their discharge paper from their service. And the problem use them more than they can use them, right? And so what I want to say about this tonight is that get your DD-214 out, bring it here. We do not do the process of that, but I can put you in direct contact with somebody either on the Michigan or the Ohio side that can get the process started for you. They're benefits you've earned. They're not just free giveaways. You've earned them. Whether you're Guard, Reserve, it doesn't make a difference. You've served and you deserve to be connected to your benefits. Agreed?
Partially.
Oh,
No, I hear the
No,
controversy.
but you are correct. Some think, well, no, I wasn't a soldier. I was a cook. Well, you signed the paper and you do. But according to the Veteran Service Commission and the VA, then when you served is a deciding point on if you even get benefits.
that is
And
true.
I just had one of my women veterans who served in the Army, and she was told she wasn't a veteran and was entitled to nothing, even though she had her DD 214. So I asked to see the rules or understand if I'm referring into veteran organizations, by what criteria are you judged? And I was handed two big notebooks with all of the rules and regulations. So basically now I'm just going to ask, when they serve, do they have their DD 214, and send them to like the Veteran Service Commission to help them weed through that. But there is some real issues. The Veteran Service Commission can help get, if they don't have their DD 214, can help them obtain that.
Mhm.
And that is a free service, and make the prints of that. So it really is very individualized to what they're entitled. But I would really recommend that all veterans go through the process to figure out what they need. Like, for example, I had a full-time job until I retired, and I felt that I really didn't need any benefits from the VA. So because then I was involved with women veterans, I thought, well, I better lead by example. So I did sign up. But because of my salary now, I'm at the top pay level and I get very little. Fortunately, I served in Desert Storm. So now I'm entitled to a few more things. So it really is very important that serving one day during war, whether it's in country or out of country, really makes a big difference in the benefits.
Yeah.
So yes, I do agree with you, but
Yeah.
there is a lot that goes along with that, and they should really be encouraged to initiate the process.
Yeah, absolutely start the process. And many say exactly what you said, right? They talk about, I don't really need them because I'm fully employed, right? Well, nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. Are benefits for your family down the road, right? And so it's just really important to get connected. And that's what we're doing. We're not telling you have to, but you have two veterans sitting here who are connected that are really encouraging you to get connected. So enough of that one. I wanted to touch a little bit, right? Okay. Just running a nonprofit is difficult. Yes.
Yes.
What are some of the difficulties in running a nonprofit, you think?
Staffing. Well, mine is so small that I am it for the women. So it's like a full-time job. So, and then we have to look at funding is another.
But full-time job, like break that down. Don't make it seem like, it's just full-time. What does that mean?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, and I mean, you don't have to label everyone, but I really want people to understand as we run these nonprofits and we're trying to help people, right? There's a lot to it. And it's so important for them to understand, right? Volunteer can get connected. You are a one-woman show, and it's, things just don't magically show up, right?
Okay, I can do this. We do send out a monthly newsletter to our Women Veteran Initiative members, and then I have a supporter roster. So it's over 300 of the women veterans, and then I have about another 200 of supporters that the newsletter will go out to. So it's
Who types the newsletter? Who types the newsletter?
Me. Who takes the photos? Me. But I do have we do have a layout editor that will do the final product for me and send it to me. But then I send it out via email, and also we have some that don't have email service, so then it has to go out by regular mail. So that's just one portion of it.
But this could be an area that somebody who is savvy could come along and go, "Hey, let me help you do this." Right?
Oh, that would be marvelous. So
I
in
get
our
to help you,
newsletter, we
Carol.
try to have the personal experiences, some of the pictures from events that we do, changes and benefits and things that would be, whether you're a male or female veteran, the newsletter could apply to them basically. And then we have the emergency calls for assistance, such as paying a phone bill. To many of our women veterans, a phone is an absolute necessity because they don't have cars. This is their lifeline, and they're in a panic that this phone service is not going to be consistent.
Mhm.
So some of them have phone bills of over $300. We just paid one of them with $600 and some dollars.
Wow.
We help with water bills. We'll help with deposits on rent.
Who pays the bills?
I do.
I see you connecting.
Provide. One, I have to have proof that they are a veteran,
Mhm.
and then they need to provide me with a copy of the bills that were paid directly to the vendor. Then after that is paid, then I do within a couple weeks or so, do a follow-up with them and see how they're doing. Is there any other issues? And then I follow up with them about every 3 months or 6 months for at least the first year or more. And then periodically, if the thought occurs to me, I haven't heard from somebody, then I'll do that. Then we have some that are trying to apply for jobs. So then I try to send them resources for how to write their resume, where they might find some jobs. Who do I know that supports veterans?
Mhm.
Those kinds of issues. Then we plan events. So we do have several events.
You keep saying we, and then when I ask you, you're like,
you're pressing its eye.
I don't think I do it all.
It sounds like you do it all.
But, women veterans, well, I'll say that. Women veterans will have Thanksgiving meals for our veterans and their families. So last year, about 8 veteran families, which a total of about 40 people. And then for Christmas, about the same number. Gifts for all the children. And then the women veterans, I give gifts. Then we have a Christmas party for our women. And then there's several other events throughout the summer, spring and summer predominantly. Then I take a break from all of that, like January, February, and then we start again. But and then we're a part of the nonprofit of United States Vets Inc. And so we'll have an all veteran and family summer picnic July 26th. I think that's a Sunday. And that's going to be at one of the local parks.
Mhm. But running a nonprofit is a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
Right.
It's as much as you want to make it. And so
Yeah.
my feeling is, knowing the women and seeing what their needs are, is that we need to address as many of the issues as we can.
Yeah.
And so it's trying to find the right activity that will want the woman veteran to come out and participate, like this event that we're going to be doing on Saturday. Part of women veterans is that isolation. There's no one to talk to, no one to share their experiences. So all of our activities that I do, I'm trying to get them to sit and talk to each other and start to share. I do know that some of them have exchanged phone numbers and they are calling each other, which I'm really very happy about.
Mhm.
So everything that is planned has a purpose, dealing with all of the issues that the women veteran might experience.
Sure.
Then there's also the community education I do. I have 3 presentations that's free.
We'll get into that in just a second.
You want to know what I do my time with?
I just don't know how you have time for all that. That's a lot to do.
That's why I
And
said
you're
it's
one
like a
person.
full-time
Yeah.
job.
Yeah,
And you're involved in a nonprofit.
I am. It's a lot different. It's a lot different though, because we are a business and we have a charitable foundation as part of our business. It's a separate entity. It is a 501c3,
Mhm.
but it is entirely run by employees of the company. So we're all paid to work for the company, and then we squeeze in supporting the foundation between our regularly scheduled job. So for me, I think one of the hardest things is, how do I decide where I put my time?
Mhm.
Because my heart is really in the foundation and helping people, and I want to do that, but I need to do my job. So
Oh, job schmo.
I know, right? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, right.
But one of the things that we're really proud of is that our organization is fully funded by itself. So we aren't paying any employees. We aren't taking in any money to support the foundation. Our business supports the foundation, and the donations we receive support the foundation. And so we're able to give all the money we bring in right back out, instead of having to dole some of it out for supplies or employment or benefits or anything like that. It's all fully funded by the company, which is great. But again, not enough hours in the day because you got to do your regularly scheduled job and then you want to do the stuff for the foundation. And I can't help myself. I find opportunities to help and I'm just like, yep, let's do it. Let's get involved. So
yeah. Well, I just wanted to touch a little bit about running nonprofits because there's so much behind the scenes that, when it's, the disco party, when it's in action, right? Like, oh, this looks amazing. You have no idea what it took to make it happen, or that I was in tears a couple hours prior as it's pouring rain on all the tables.
I think planning and scheduling events, whether it's for a nonprofit or any purpose, so much more goes into it. If you want it to be a really good event, you want people to feel like they've gotten real value out of it, especially like your sponsors. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of manpower. And it's sometimes really hard to get people to step up and be like, yeah, I'll help do that. I'll help set up chairs. I'll help stay and take down chairs. Like, it can get really, really hard to get enough help. And it seems like you always get the same small group of volunteers that keep stepping up. Like you just keep saying yes, you keep doing more. And I'm the same way. So you find these people that'll keep saying yes. And then you end up with 10 people who are trying to make it all happen. But by the grace of God, it keeps happening. So
it does.
Yeah, I have good friends that believe in our cause, so
Yeah.
I can count on them.
Well, we're going to jump into who Nikki is. Who is Nikki? What do you do? We'll start there.
I'm a Virgo. Oh, that's not what you meant.
I like long walks on a beach.
So I'm Nikki DeMonis. I technically work for Miter Brands. Miter Brands is the parent company of several window companies across the entire country. But I'm here tonight representing Miter Foundation. So Miter Foundation is the charitable branch of Miter Brands. And it started 15 years ago? No, 10 years ago. 10 years ago in central Pennsylvania when we were just MI windows. We make vinyl windows. But
they must be good.
They must be good, right? But our team members, very family-oriented business. It's a very tight-knit community in central Pennsylvania. So a lot of families, and I mean generations of family, work in the business. So they all know each other. They all go to school together. They all grow up together. And so when things would go south for somebody, the people would rally around and make contributions, have a pancake dinner, whatever. It didn't matter. So then we started finding out about organizations in the community that needed help. So they started helping out and raising money in the facility to help the community around the facility because, again, really tight-knit, really small. And as the company has grown and as we've partnered with more large companies, we've started getting more involved with the organizations they support. And they get involved in supporting our organization. And so as it's grown over the last 10 years, we now have a huge network of partners that we work with to support veterans, first responders, cancer survivors, children that have had illnesses. I feel like I'm blanking. And then just community. So we have right now, aside from the national organization, the Miter Foundation Executive Committee, we have 18 outreach committees across the United States. And so the outreach committees are the ones that really get plugged into the surrounding community. So I'm here in Temperance, Michigan, and as a member of the outreach committee, I try and find organizations like Little Blessings that fit into our pillars that I feel we can support and that are contributing to our community. So we're contributing by supporting you. We're contributing by coming here and helping and volunteering. And then you can come and you can meet with our team and you can support our team members who are volunteers or veterans, or who have family members that are veterans. So it's just building that relationship and really becoming a support for our surrounding communities.
Yeah. So how'd you get connected with us?
Oh my goodness, how did I get connected with Little Blessings? So, oh my gosh, back when we were like 20, like 10 years ago, I met Jamie during a Bible study. She showed up and I was hosting the Bible study, and I am not one to like step up and do that stuff, but I was probably, I think it was my first or second year hosting that particular women's group. And you showed up as a member of the group, and you said you wanted to see how to run a Bible study and learn more about just how it all works, because you wanted to host a Bible study at your new nonprofit that you were about to start. And I'm like, what is that? And it's a veterans, we're going to do equine therapy. I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. So we struck a friendship then and just stayed in touch over the years. So when I saw an opportunity, when we started our outreach committee in Temperance, and I saw an opportunity where I could get connected to help you. I mean, it's veterans, duh. It's Jamie, duh. So yeah, I jumped on it. I was excited. So that's how we got connected to Little Blessings.
And what do some of your folks do for us? Talk about that opportunity for them.
Oh, sure. So our team members come over and help out at Little Blessings. We have a schedule where we come over and we clean house. That's it. Simple as that. Anybody can do it. So we come and clean the bathroom, sweep the
But
floors.
what's so great is that your company pays them to do that.
Yes.
And these team members of yours have become family to us.
That's
They
awesome.
are, they're not just people that walk in and we're like, hey, supplies are around the clock. That we're like so excited to see them. Several have participated in our events, right?
Yeah.
And some just come out here to just hang. And I absolutely
awesome.
love that.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want them to feel like they're part of the family because they are part of the family. And we don't take, I know cleanings may sound like it's, again, everything sounds like it's a simple task, right? But we have so many, now that this building is where we're at, we're 3 years into it, we have so many people that come through this door. And this is a building that needs to be ready at any time.
Yeah.
And so we treasure the fact that they come in and they clean the baseboards or the ceiling fan blades or whatever other crazy thing I ask them to do.
They do private homes.
Not my private home, I'll tell you that
Office
much.
nonprofit.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, and so it is absolutely amazing.
And that's what we're looking for, really. I mean, when we're looking for organizations to support, there's lots of places we can throw money,
Mhm.
and there's lots of places that you can go and volunteer. We want to find organizations where we can really get to know the people there and be a part of that organization and build that relationship, because that's what makes it impactful for the person doing the volunteering as well as for the organization getting the support.
Mhm.
And I know that the team members that come over here, like you said, yeah, they're getting paid to do it. They're getting paid an hour or two. It's not like they're getting paid, a couple $100.
Mhm.
They're getting paid just their hourly wage, and they come over and they clean and they talk, and a lot of them are really extroverted, which is great. I'm
Yeah,
not one of
yeah.
them, but I'll
Yeah,
come over and clean quietly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's pretty cool, and I'm glad that they have that chance. It's nice to break away from your day-to-day job for an hour or two and do something of greater value than building windows.
Mhm.
So,
And what is that event called where there's several local organizations that we come to your place?
oh, our signing day. Yeah,
Okay.
that we do in the spring.
And
so
what is that?
it's just we conjured up this idea. I think you helped me conjure up the idea, where we invite the organizations in the community that we're supporting to come into our facility and put a face to the name. So we help Little Blessings, we help Food for Thought, and there's a couple other organizations in the area, Gabby's Grief Center. So you come and you set up a table, and our team members come in and they get a chance to meet you, talk to you, learn about your organization from you, because you're the one with the passion.
Mhm.
I have a passion to help, but I don't have the passion behind the individual organization because it wasn't my baby. It's your baby.
Mhm.
So I love that our partners come in and tell our team members all about the good their organization is doing, and how, not just how they can help the organization, but how the organization can help them. Like Food for Thought does food pantries.
Mhm.
Our team members probably wouldn't know that. We have 300 people there, and you just know there's people that have family or friends that need help.
Mhm.
We know there's tons of veterans plugged into those 300 people.
Mhm.
So making sure that the people we're partnering with aren't just names on a wall
Mhm.
and a chance to get out of work for an hour. They're real people doing real things,
Mhm.
helping other people.
Mhm.
And it gives them a chance to find the organization that really speaks to their heart and the person that they feel comfortable talking to, and then they can plug in.
Mhm.
And we don't even have to be involved. I know we've got team members that have gone and volunteered and done things that have nothing to do with being paid. It has nothing to do with the volunteer time off we're giving them. They just want to be a part of it. And I think that happens a lot here.
Yeah,
So-
and absolutely love that.
Yeah.
So a question we like to ask is, why do you continue to choose to support us? Why do you continue to partner with us?
It's going to sound really trite, but it's the truth, because I believe in what you're doing. I believe in supporting our veterans. I believe in helping people with mental health. Mental health is crippling, and I don't think a lot of people get it or understand it. It's really easy to hide it. It's really easy to shove it down, especially if you're a survivor. If you're the kind of person who's been raised or trained to be a survivor and to keep your emotions to yourself and to keep your challenges to yourself, you're suffering alone. You're suffering in silence. And I myself have had some challenges. I've watched my daughter suffer, and it's a silent disease, and people expect you to just buck up and keep moving forward. And how can we not want to support people that have served our country and allowed us the freedom that we can get on Facebook and talk about whatever we want to talk about? How can you not want to support that? How can you not want to help them have a successful transition into civilian life and to be healthy enough to really enjoy this life that they have after serving, and to enjoy their families after serving? They work so hard and they've given so much. They deserve that. And so I can't see any reason why we wouldn't support Little Blessings.
Well, we absolutely love you guys, and you guys take very, very good care of us.
Thanks.
So
Well, you guys take good care of us.
We think that you've given us a lot, even though you know.
No, I want to do more. If I could, I'd give you the world.
Yeah,
I love what's going on here.
I know. Well, thank you so much. So we're gonna flip over to the Hall of Famer over here. So and if you have any
Thank you
questions,
for not making me follow this, because that would be brutal. I work at a window company.
if you have any questions, I mean, please feel free to chime in at any time.
Sure.
So, the one and only,
Yes.
Carolyn Nagy. Tell us who you are.
Well, other than being with this nonprofit, I am a nurse by profession, a longtime nurse. 52 years I held my license. And I was in the Army Reserve, and then we were in Desert Storm. So we set up a 400-bed hospital there. I really enjoy travel. I travel an awful lot, and that's my piece. That recycles me, rejuvenates me, so I can do other things. And I'm into sports, pickleball, and those kinds of things.
Nice.
But and I do travel logs for the community, sharing my travels and my pictures that I do take. So that's the personal side a little bit. I read a lot, but
Let's talk about from a woman veteran, you are a hero in many of our eyes. I mean, what you did. Talk about what you did in Desert Storm.
in Desert Storm, we were stationed 70 miles from Kuwait. So we were in support of the ground troops. So there were 5 evacuation hospitals of 400 bed each. And they thought that there'd be at least 2,000 casualties a day. So we were a reserve unit that was activated. We had never set up a 400 bed hospital before. And so I was one of the few that had the little training kit that you get in Texas, with one little tiny unit. And so, the military believes that you are a soldier first, an officer, and then I could be a nurse. So we wore many different hats to do this. And so we designed a hospital. At the time, we were like one step above a MASH unit as far as equipment and tents that we had. We could have air conditioning and heat for the patients' quarters. But you had to be very careful when you set your equipment down because it came in boxes that weighed about 55,000 pounds, and you couldn't make an error. So we had to have blueprints and we had to have them approved, and then we physically set it up, and then we supplied it, then we ran it, and then we tore it down. So that was our time there. So,
I love you so much.
It's no big deal.
I know. Everything in her life is like no big deal. Oh, I run a nonprofit by myself. I just set up a hospital.
My philosophy really is, how many minutes am I going to allow myself to be upset about something? So some things get maybe 2 minutes or 5. Some might get a couple hours. Some get, it's like, go forward. How am I going to deal with it?
Yeah. And I'm not looking at it as I'm so proud of you. You should be so proud. And I don't know. Sometimes it's difficult for veterans to be proud of themselves for what they did. But you're legendary.
Well, I just thought that was my duty. That's what I was there for. I was a nurse, so I knew that. And I certainly learned a lot more about the military when I went in. My orders had been delayed, and by the time I signed them, they were going to go to their annual training, which I was expected to go to. And I didn't know my new name was lieutenant. I wasn't answering. And then I didn't know what MOS was or BDU. I'm what in the world are they talking about? I have no clue. And so in Desert Storm, that was a turning point for women in the military as far as those going now up to the front line and those issues that we had. So even though we were a non-combat unit, there were certain women's issues that we had to face. So when I do presentations, I talk a lot about how women go to the bathroom in the desert and the sand and what that involves.
Well, and share a little bit about this. I don't want you to share the whole story, but again, I like individuals to know that this is about reaching one veteran who doesn't know we exist, right? Your organization doesn't exist, right? And not every guest that I have on here can connect the way that you can connect with women veterans, right? Your experience is different. And so how do you know there isn't somebody out there who served in Desert Storm who's like, oh my gosh, she's saying exactly how I feel. And and the person on the other side has just been tucked away. Nobody understands it, right?
Yeah, there certainly is a difference between when you're in country and your facilities here because you have modern convenience. But for those young women that are in Iraq now and out in the desert, there are certain issues which need to be faced. So, for example, when we were in Desert Storm to shower, you had an outside tent where you took your clothes off. Now, I had never showered with 50 other women before. So you had a towel and you marched into the other tent, and there were little shower heads and maybe 8 or 10 under one shower head. The men were on the other side heating the water and yelling at you, are you ready yet? And so they would turn the water on, and you had 2 minutes to rinse and get soap. And then they turned the water off, and then you had to lather up, and then they turned the water on, and you would rinse for 2 minutes. That was it. If you weren't clean by then, that's too bad. You were done, or you're soap out of your hair. But being serious about going to the bathroom, because a lot of these women are in very small units with maybe 6 or 8 men. Where do they change their tampon at? Where do you go to the bathroom at? And now you have helmets on, you have your jacket on, you have your pants on, you have a belt, you have a protective mask, you have a poncho, you have a canteen, flashlights, bullets. Now they put Velcro vests on them. And your commander and the convoys will only stop every so often. Well, there are no 7-Elevens. There are no state parks that have a bathroom where you can go. So the women, when we were in Desert Storm, we would go out into the desert and we put ponchos on, formed a circle, and then whoever had to go to the bathroom could go dig a little hole. But the problem is now it's 128 degrees, the wind's blowing, and you have to get those clothes down. That's not easy, getting that material down nor getting it back up, but you have to remove all of that gear before you can even get the hole. And then you would do that, and then you had to put it all back on again. So that creates other problems, that the women then would refuse to drink, and then they had urinary tract infections and dehydration. And so that's still issues. I understand now in some of the areas there's like a canvas or like a cylinder now that's put up, and the women in the desert can go in there. But there are a lot of those kinds of issues that you don't normally think about. And about the meals ready to eat, there was like almost 4,000 calories on those. Do I need 4,000 calories? But they're meant for the strapping young man doing physical exercise in the heat. So then the women would not eat as much, and then you'd have other problems with malnutrition.
Yeah, I know. And just all those things. And I love it, right? Because, you're bringing to light all those things that, are still issues today. Those weren't just back in the day, right? There's still issues. No. There's still women, like my daughter just got out of the Army, right? And she talked about when she was going through some of her training, right? I mean, she's out in the field. What are you doing? Where are you going to the bathroom?
That's exactly right.
And so none of that changes, right? And they don't care if you're a woman or not, right? You wanted to be in the man's world and in the man's space, so figure it out, right?
Well, one of the women that I worked with at the Commons at Garden Lake was a Marine, and she said that they found a closet, the Marines did, and they put a bucket in there and a roll of toilet paper. and a light bulb, and then they put women's latrine on the door. That was their bathroom. So if you start reading a historical perspective of women that have volunteered throughout time, the issues that they faced in those days are still issues, except with a modern twist that we still have now to face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there's issues when they get out, right?
Yes, and there are also some books written by young women that didn't realize that they were depressed, just as you're saying to address. You don't know that you're experiencing this. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of issues that particularly it's now called military sexual trauma, or MST, which just means that there was sexual abuse that occurred, whether it was with your own soldiers or with a foreign person. But they've never dealt with them. They don't want to be in a group with men. They don't want to have a male psychologist. So how do we deal with some of those? And here at Little Blessings, I know you have some of our women that are here participating in your program. But the women have got to learn to talk. We've got to learn to be able to start to express ourselves, get the word out.
Mm-hmm. So did you struggle at all in your transition from service to civilian? I mean, we don't have to.
No. I
but
think, fortunately, I sort of have a can-do attitude. I don't know. I didn't let it bother me. Mm-hmm. Once you sign everything that I owned in my life away or was on hold, my sister had her name on my house. I mean, all of that, and I locked up jewelry in the safety deposit box. I had to have a will in place. Fortunately, I didn't have children to worry about or to find a place for them, because that creates another issue when the woman is serving. Mm-hmm. So when I came home, I found no need to go shopping for clothes. I found no need to get my jewelry out of the safety deposit box. One of the issues we did talk about was what would we do different in our life, and it's nurses that served in Vietnam worked way above what their licensure said they could. And even in Desert Storm, we certainly did things that I would not be able to do in Ohio. Mm-hmm. And so now when you come home, that's all taken away from you. And so those women that served in Vietnam had a hard time holding down jobs because they couldn't do what they had been trained to do and were allowed to do. Mm-hmm. So our women sat around and they talked about, well, what would they do different in their life? What kind of jobs? But when they got back, they found that they were single moms. They had children to support, so they couldn't make those changes. I was free. I did not have children. So I just had to start reclaiming my life back and go forward again. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I was bothered a lot by it. I found ways over in Desert Storm that I would amuse myself. I would go and raid the mail truck and read all the letters from little kids, and then I'd write them letters and get stuff back. It was just I had to do it. That's one day at a time.
Yeah, that's amazing. You were such an inspiration to so many. Absolutely love it.
No, thank you.
Thank you. And so I don't know if you talk specifically, but you do go out and do speaking engagements.
Right.
So talk about those, and if somebody wants to contact you for speaking engagements.
The speaking engagements are dealing, I have 3. One's called Military Life in Desert Storm. So it's my experiences as a soldier and what it took to set up a 400-bed hospital, but introducing some of the issues. The other one is called A Few Good Women, and that's talking about women that have served in our military from the Revolutionary War, such as Deborah Sampson, who served as Robert for 17 months until she was injured. And she went on then to fight against the state of Massachusetts for pay. They weren't going to pay her because she was a woman. And she was the only woman that got a pension from Massachusetts. So the Deborah Thompson Act, of 2020 was named after her with women's rights. So there just talks about some are famous, some not so famous. And then the third one is just it's about women that are serving currently and some of the issues with the more modern type of service. So this is offered free into the community. And the reason is, one, to help me find women veterans, but it's also to educate the community that women veterans are out there. And contrary to what some think, there is a slight difference between men and women veterans. Mm-hmm. So some say veterans are veterans, but I do tend to disagree a little bit on that. There are certain issues that need to be addressed separately. Yeah. And so these are free to the community.
I was just at a leadership summit up in Michigan, and I was sitting at a table, and this gentleman said, "You see my name, Paxton, right?" And he goes, "Did your husband serve?" Really? Really?
That is a big issue. And even at the VA, when you go in and you're standing there, the VA say, where's your husband?
Yeah.
And so women are not as forthcoming. We don't wear veteran on our hat. I have veterans out here now because I'm here today, but I don't wear that out normally in the public. Even when I have a women veteran license plate on my car, people question why I'm parking in the veteran spot. So it's
Because I am.
yeah. So if we need to, Ohio has over 67,000 women veterans. And it's difficult to find them all.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some real issues that we need to address. We're trying to encourage women to tell their stories. Women need to start talking about some of the things that they did and experienced. There is the Military Women's Memorial in Washington, D.C. It's right in the gates entrance to Arlington National Cemetery that women can submit their information for free, tell about their service. There's a 2,000 character word that you can write about your service, and then if your family or anyone can type in your name and find you. But there's also a lot of memorabilia from women that have contributed for that. But it's extremely important that women need to tell their stories.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
As a civilian,
Mhm.
my whole life,
Mhm.
I'm curious, why don't women veterans display that they're veterans like men do? Because men, it's like a badge of honor, and I feel like what I'm hearing you say is it's something you want to keep quiet, and I think that's really interesting. I'm curious why.
Well, some women, as I said earlier, I was just a cook, so they didn't feel that they really
So
served.
they feel they deserved it. They weren't real soldiers.
Others, their husband tell them that they don't want them to tell anyone that they were in the service. Others, because of what happened to them in the service, particularly with the military sexual trauma and other issues. And then some are, the more women are joining the service now than men. And those women that are going in with children. They're a single parent. Before, a woman could not have any children at all. She was automatically out. But now they're going in for various reasons. So they're going in either to make life changes or for future education, for a means of a job and better training. So then some want to serve their country and be part of the team. So there are multiple reasons why they're going in. But there's also personal reasons why they don't want it known.
Yeah, it makes me sad. Like, that is a huge sacrifice, a huge commitment, especially women that have children or families at home, and then they don't want to talk about it.
Women
It's
that
really
serve,
sad.
particularly like in combat or where you're out of the country, then your children have to be signed over to someone. And so in Desert Storm, we had women whose significant other, they weren't married to them, but the significant other was going to take care of them. Then you would get a Red Cross message that's saying, well, your teenage daughter was probably raped by your significant other. So now you lost a soldier out of the field, and they didn't come back because they were home taking care of it. Others, in those days, you had to wait and get on the telephone, the line to call home. But they would say, if you're not home when you're supposed to be, you don't have a home to come back to. So there were those issues. And then the issues with, of course, fraternization wherever you go. So
Yeah.
that changes the dynamics of when you come home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, real issues. Somebody asked me today if I thought that, if there could be a shift with women in the military and in regards to like the military sexual trauma that happens, right? Could they be strong enough and have a voice against it? And, as much as I want to believe that they could, right? The passion for women to serve and to prove so much that you're equal to the man, right? Is that if something happens, that's where you eat it, right? You're not willing to give up your opportunity to serve over that, right? Because you have such this desire to serve and serve something so much bigger than yourself that you'll bury it, right? And it's a very difficult process. And I mean, there are men who get military sexual trauma that happens to men too, so it's not just women. The worst part about it is whether it's a man or a woman, it happening to, right? It's happening by somebody that you trust, in your brother or sister in the military, right? or somebody who is residing, what'd you call them? Like when we go to the base, the other people that are there. I'm losing the thought of what it is, but it's very, very difficult process, right? And so, and that's a hard pill to swallow when you're serving both beside people, but yeah.
They are trying to make changes about how it's handled, whether they're successful or not, just like in the civilian world about how you're treated if you are having complaints of sexual abuse. The military's tried to make changes as well. But anytime that you have men and women together in close quarters or under those conditions, that you have to understand. And even though you might be saying no, it can still happen.
Yeah.
We had one of our she wasn't in our unit, but she within Saudi government, it was very difficult to even have women drive trucks there because that was against their rules. And the truck broke down, and the Arabic man came along and he raped her.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was an innocent thing, and that just happened. But
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, do either one of you have any last words of wisdom at all, or anything you want to add to, or no?
No, I just think that there's it's so great to have more information coming out about women veterans and, about their needs. I didn't mention here, we've talked about the sexual abuse, but more women are highly educated than men, but they're coming back and they can't get the jobs. And so there's more homelessness now of women with children. And I'm told that we don't need facilities for them, although there are a couple in our country that have that. Women veterans now are changing the manner in which they commit suicide. Normally, women do not commit suicide. They would be more like pills or something like that doesn't mar you. Now more women are taking guns and shooting themselves, as well. So there are some real issues that need to come forward in the community, and to make those needs known that we have to address them.
Yeah. And this is a great place to start, right?
Yes,
or a great place to add to it, because I know you're doing amazing things in the community, and you get out and you talk about it as much as you can. And I absolutely love that. So thank you both for coming on the show tonight. Yes. And thank you both for what you do and partnering with us and sponsoring us and being a great community partner.
Well, I just want to thank you for what you're doing, and thank you both for what you've done, because I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for people like you.
Person to work with.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks. Thank you guys so much. We hope you have a blessed night, and we will see you next Wednesday.